Hey everyone! In this explainer, we're going to build a complete instructional playbook. My whole goal here is to give you a super clear step-by-step guide for teaching the new Georgia ELA standard on purpose and audience, especially for your K-2 students, so let's just dive right in.
This really is the big question, isn't it? This standard is all about moving our students from just, putting words on a page to writing with real, actual intent. It's about helping them see that their words have a job to do and a specific person to reach.
So here's the standard we're talking about. And the core idea here is actually pretty simple, but it's so important. We're helping students understand why a text is created and who it's for. We're teaching them that writers make very specific choices based on these two crucial things, purpose and audience.
So here's our game plan, our playbook for today. We're going to start by unpacking the why behind the standard. Then we'll get into planning with evidence, model the exact routine, and finally, touch on differentiation and assessment. It's literally everything you need all in one spot.
All right, let's jump right into the first part of our playbook, getting a real handle on the standard and unpacking its core concepts so we're all on the same page.
So what's the big leap we're asking kids to make here? Well, our students come to us knowing how to form letters, maybe even write a few simple sentences. That's the mechanics of it all. But this standard adds that whole communication piece. It's the shift from just writing to writing for someone, for a specific reason. It's honestly a total game changer. First things first, let's get our key terms down. Purpose is simply the why. It's the reason an author is even creating the text in the first place. For our little guys in K2, we want to keep this super concrete. Are they writing to tell a story, to explain how to build something, to share a feeling, or maybe to inform someone about a cool fact they learned? An audience? That's just the who. Who is this message for? And again, we've got to make it real for them. Is it for a friend, a parent, the whole class? Or what if it's for the principal? The audience really changes everything about what we write and how we write it. So how do we know when they've actually got it? Well, here are our success criteria. A student who has really mastered this can do three things. They can name their audience, they can state their purpose, and this is the really critical part, they can explain the connection. They can tell you why their message is a good fit for that specific person.
Okay, on to section 3 of our playbook. So we know what we're teaching. Now how do we plan for it? This is where we talk about planning with evidence. And let me tell you, the Georgia DOE has given us this fantastic tool to make sure our instruction is perfectly aligned, the evidence document.
Okay, this is the evidence document. Seriously, think of this thing as your cheat sheet for teaching. It shows you exactly what mastery looks like, it gives you examples of what strong student work sounds like, and it even warns you about common misconceptions. We're going to use this before we teach to get ahead of what our students might need.
Check this out. This student response is pulled right from that document. Notice the student doesn't just say, it's for kids. They give the because there are lots of pictures. This shows they're making that connection between what's in the book and who it's for. That's the kind of thinking we are aiming for.
Now, the evidence document also flags this huge misconception we have to watch out for. So often, students will tell you the topic of a text instead of its purpose. They'll say, oh, it's about ladybugs. And our job is to push them to identify the author's action. Was it to teach us about ladybugs or to tell a story about a ladybug? That little difference is everything.
And when that misconception does pop up in your classroom, here's exactly how we can respond. Notice the language here. It's super positive and guiding. That's a great start. Then you pivot to the verb, the action. What did the author want to do? This helps scaffold their thinking from just topic to actual purpose. All right, section 4. This is where the rubber meets the road, modeling the routine. We've done our planning, we know the pitfalls. Now let's model the who is this for routine straight from the strategy card. This is what it actually looks and sounds like in the classroom. The who is this for routine is awesome because it's so simple, but it's really powerful. It's just 4 steps. I name an audience. The students pick a purpose, they create a quick message, and then, the most important part, they explain their thinking. We're going to do this using that classic gradual release. I do, we do, you do.
Okay, so picture this. I'm at my small group table, my whiteboard is under the document camera so everyone can see. Here's my think aloud. All right, friends, watch me. My turn. First, I have to choose my audience. My audience is going to be my mom. Okay. Next, I need a purpose. My purpose is to tell her I love her. So my message has to match that. I'm going to draw a big heart, and then I'll write, I love you, Mom. See how my message is perfect for my mom, and it clearly tells her I love her?
Now, we do it together. Okay, team, our turn. Let's write a message for our principal, Ms. Smith. Who is our audience? And the students will say, Ms. Smith. That's right. Now, what could our purpose be? Why would we write to her? Turn and tell your partner one idea. Then, after they share out, we can decide on one together, like to thank her, and we'll write the message together on the board.
But you know what happens? What if a student says something a little off track, like, we could write a grocery list for the principal? Instead of just saying, nope, that's wrong, I'm going to redirect. I'll say, you know, a grocery list is a great idea for writing. Who do we usually write a grocery list for? For ourselves or maybe a parent? Yeah. So would that be the best message for our principal? Let's think of another idea that would be just right for her. This validates their idea, but gently refocuses them on that concept of audience.
Finally, we get to the partner practice. I'll say, okay, now it's your turn. With your partner, you're going to choose an audience and a purpose and then create a message on your whiteboard. And while they're working, I'm not just sitting back, I am circulating, listening in, and I'm really looking for two things. Are they saying their audience and purpose before they start writing, and are they checking to make sure their message actually matches their goal?
Okay, Section 5, differentiation. Because let's be real, our classrooms are full of different learners, right? So let's talk for a minute about how we can support everyone with some simple scaffolds and extensions.
So here are just a few ways we can adapt this task. For my friends who need a little more support, things like sentence frames, they're lifesavers. My message is for blank. Or using picture cards of different audiences can be a huge help. Now, for those kids who are ready for a bigger challenge, ask them to write for 2 different audiences, like a thank you note to a friend versus one to the librarian, and then have them explain how and why their message had to change.
And that brings us to our final section, number 6. We've taught the lesson, we've differentiated, but how do we know if they really got it? Let's talk about assessment.
An exit ticket is just perfect for this. It's super quick, no pressure, and it gives you a fantastic snapshot of their understanding. In this example here, the student identified their audience, a friend, and a super clear purpose, to tell him how to play tag. The message totally matches the goal. This little piece of paper is the data that tells us this student is meeting those success criteria we talked about.
So here's the bottom line. By really understanding the standard, using that evidence document to plan, and modeling a clear, simple routine, you can absolutely empower your students to become thoughtful, purposeful writers. You've got the playbook. Now you're ready to teach.